try Xesht.
We that dreamed. We nightmare. We that are one.
Wow. Yeah. I haven't really fought this guy that much, honestly.
Existence. The abyss knocks loose.
I feel like we're doing fine.
Is answered by four.
Ooh.
We that fail.
Yeah. Unique lapis amulet. Oh yeah. Blind chilled enemies. Penetrate 75 cold res. Alright, and here's some of the interactions I'm running, which have been pretty cool, pretty fun to use. Cast on freeze with Voltaic Mark. Impetus. Conduction for more shock. And then long shot. And then I have Herald of Thunder with Deadly Herald, Cold Infusion, Glaciation, and Cold Penetration. And that does give pretty good clear. This cast on freeze setup with Voltaic Mark does consume lots of mana when it chains together and everything, with Herald of Thunder and my Shattering Palm and Frozen Locust and all that. But it's pretty sweet though. I kind of like the combo. I feel like it's not cheap like the first league was when everyone was chaining Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ice, because this one still does require more spirit to use, so 60 spirit for cast on freeze. But then also the mana cost can really drain, so you have to kind of solve that a bit too. I have a question though about this Voltaic Mark. It says it's a spell. It says the Nova has its own attack damage. Do things like this improve the damage of my Voltaic Mark? This says Spellblade, where I get spell damage while wielding a melee weapon for these nodes here. Also, I get trigger spells here for spell damage, and then I get trigger spells for spell damage over here. You know? So, like, do I actually get an improvement in damage on Voltaic Mark? So, let's see. If I go to Voltaic Mark, look at my Nova damage. It's average damage per use, 4,082.
Yes.
Let's refund this.
I must meditate.
4,082. So it seems as if this did not do anything. And I add this back in. Do I get anything? No, it's the same. I guess these spell damage while wielding a melee weapon things do not impact that at all. Okay, what about spell damage for trigger spells then, for this? So let's take those away.
Let's try something different.
It's the same, it says. 4,082. Wow. So the Voltaic Mark, although it is tagged as a spell, it says it has its own attack damage. And so it doesn't actually get any more damage from utilizing trigger spell damage or spell damage from while wielding a melee weapon. That's kind of interesting, and that also kind of sucks at the same time. I don't know if that's the intention or not. Okay, I guess I can respec some points then and save myself some stuff, but that's kind of a bummer. Okay, so I spec'd out of that then. So instead of having these spell damage while wielding melee weapons, you know, I grabbed these reduced mana cost ones instead. I needed that 10 dexterity, though, in order to use my spear skills, Whirling Slash and Twister, so I just put a dexterity rune in the shield. That way, whenever I have the spear out, I can now use it. So let's try. I also did respec out of this here for the trigger spell damage. I did lose the meta damage, the meta energy, though, and I went back to meditate, and it seems fine. So it seems like I didn't lose anything by doing that. So let's see. Yeah, this is just, it still feels like I'm able to trigger everything even without that, which is good, I guess, but it's also kind of like I don't feel the impact. See, look, it just triggered everywhere, just how it usually does. And now it just costs less mana for me, so I kind of win by figuring out that that interaction doesn't work. Although it would have been cool. I don't know if it's just if it's all the spells that it's broken on, or if it's just this one. Because I know Voltaic Mark is technically, it's a mark, right? But it is categorized as a spell, so I don't know. Oh. So yeah, kind of bummed that these spell damage while wielding a melee weapon things and these trigger spell damage do not increase the damage of Voltaic Mark, which is categorized as a spell. I'm not sure if that's intended or not, but this is just one other thing that I wish there was more of in the game, which is that they widen the tags on things so that you can scale things in more ways. So whenever I find an interaction like this where I can't scale it, even though it says it's a spell, that just kind of upsets me a little bit, because it's like, well, there's just less ways to scale things. But anyway, I'm looking forward to the next big patch, you know, when they add more content. And I'm very happy that they're going to be nerfing volatile plants. Just remove them, I guess, altogether. How about that? Except for choice bosses and maybe a couple interactions here and there. They just need to go. Melee has such a hard time dancing around them, not being able to attack, you know, because you have 16 different purple little orbs following you at all times. It's really frustrating. GGG said that their data showed that those accounted for more than half of player deaths in the endgame, which is just silly, you know. That was the first time I tried to fight him. Here's the gear. Got this thing with pretty decent evasion energy shield. Needed the stats, so that's why I'm using it. It's got 31 dex, 36 intelligence. This amulet's nice. It's got 3 to melee skills with 35 cold, 31 lightning, 21 rarity, 112 mana, 26 max energy as the implicit, and 80 max energy shield. And then adaptable assault is what I allocated. Plus 4 to melee strike range if you've dealt a projectile hit. In the past 8 seconds, projectiles have 25% chance to fork. And there's no downside to the forking, like no less damage. So since I used the twisters, I thought that was kind of cool. Pretty good chest here. Over 400 energy shield, over 1,000 evasion. With intelligence, stun threshold, pretty good. The implicit of chaos res is nice. 2 unset rings. This one's really nice. There's 2 mods for attack, 133 mana, rarity, 15 all res, 26 lightning, and I've got it the 20% quality. This one as well, 2 attack mods, 22% cold damage. Then I've got strength, intelligence, and fire res that are all pretty good rolls. My shield's helpful. I got mana regen with the rune, and then reduced crit damage bonus, chaos res, fire res, life, armor, evasion. Total evasion is 73%, 26% block, 11% armor. Check that out. We're capped on res, 75, 75, only 73 cold, but we do have a guard cold charm, a freeze guard cold charm, And then our Chaos is 62 with the Forsaken Bangle Charm, which gives us recoup on Chaos damage. Boots are nice. Tri-res boots, so 40 fire, 27 cold, 21 chaos, 133 stun threshold, 30 movement speed. I put a rune for mana regen because mana is an issue. And then this is our spirits. It's not awesome, but it's okay. It's got fire damage, 63, 135% physical, rune for 25% physical, 34% crit damage bonus, 23% attack speed, gain 47 life per kill, and then the really poopy mod of 1 to 5 lightning damage. On swap, I've got a decent quarterstaff for Shattering Palm and Frozen Locusts and for Gathering Storm. So here it is. Some soul cores, 30% LE damage, 15% penetration, 6 to melee skills, 24% crit damage bonus, flat 88 lightning, flat 46 cold, and then only 101% increased physical damage. It's like a very, very budget mediocre weapon, but it really works well for the skills I'm using it for on swap. Belt is tri-res, 38 fire, 36 cold, 33 lightning. And then gloves have some attack speed, some dex, a little bit of mana, and then rage on hit for the talisman. And then we've got 2 mods for attack damage, physical and lightning. Okay. Talk to you dudes later. Let me know what you think about the interaction here with Cast on Freeze and all that.
Fury of Frost!
Whoa, losing frames. I'm like stuck. What is happening? That was weird. My guy was like underground for a second there. Didn't move. There we go. Okay.